I hadn't been meant to attend. In truth, the invitation had arrived as a duty, a late thought. Perhaps it was a test to check if I'd appear, remain silent, and endure the burden of their actions. I almost declined. I convinced myself I had moved on, that their treachery no longer mattered. Yet, when the day came, I found myself donning my suit, readjusting my tie with hands that quivered barely. And now, here I was seated in the back, observing as my ex-wife married my former friend. The burden weighed on me, yet not as they might expect, not as she believed I would. I wasn't there to shatter, to crumble under the weight of an unspoken sorrow. I was present for something else entirely. The ceremony unfolded like a movie scene. Soft music, whispered vows, the nauseatingly perfect moment when they gazed into each other's eyes, feigning love born from something pure. But I knew the truth. I noticed her evasion of eye contact with me. His stiff posture suggested readiness for an impending event. Perhaps he assumed I would create a disturbance, that I would shout or fight. However, that wasn't my manner. Instead, I remained seated. I waited. When the officiant uttered, "If anyone present has any reason why these two should not be married, speak now or forever hold your peace," I rose. The room fell into a hushed silence. Every gaze turned towards me. A few people gasped. She tensed up. He paled. I prolonged the moment, intensifying the tension until even those unaware of our past could sense something was on the verge of breaking apart. Then, with an eerie calmness, I posed a question that disrupted their idyllic day. I simply inquired, "I have just one query." The officiant appeared unsure. The guests squirmed in their seats. My ex-wife's voice trembled. "This is not the appropriate time, Nathan." I chose to disregard her. Instead, I fixed my gaze on him. "Do you recall if she still calls out your name while asleep, Ryan?" He fell silent, his jaw clenched tight. Her face drained of color. With that, their facade crumbled. I hadn't planned on revealing this, not at first. But watching them play act their love, pretending it was untouched by specters, stirred something within me. For I knew the truth. Her secret late-night texts when she believed he was asleep, the drunken messages laden with remorse. I was aware of how she hesitated when she thought no one observed, of how she lingered on memories she feigned no longer yearned for. And Ryan understood it all too well. That's the nature of betrayal. It doesn't vanish once committed. It lingers, it corrupts. You cannot take another man's wife and then rest peacefully at night. As awareness spread across the room like wildfire, a spectator coughed, an uneasy, awkward sound. His ex-wife comprehended as his wife grabbed his hand, attempting to stabilize the impending chaos. "Ryan, don't," she whispered, but he withdrew. His eyes, mysterious and unyielding, shifted between her and him, contemplating a past he thought he could rework. She attempted to hold him again. Could it be that he was intentionally sabotaging this? Was he? His voice was soft. A hint of pity surfaced, but it quickly faded. He'd once been entrusted with all his secrets, loyalty, friendship. Instead of honoring that trust, he'd infiltrated his life like a clandestine night intruder, taking what wasn't his. Now, he was recognizing a critical truth. A future cannot be constructed upon the debris of another person's life and expect it to endure. I could have said more. I could have deepened the wound, unveiled every bitter truth. But it was unnecessary. The harm had already been inflicted. I zipped up my coat and strolled down the aisle with measured, deliberate strides. I sensed the scrutiny in their gazes, the mix of bewilderment, judgment, and gradual comprehension spreading among them. By the time I neared the entrance, the first strains of a flawed day were audible. Ryan's hushed, pointed question met with a barely discernible response. A series of gasps followed, accompanied by the swell of whispers growing louder. Stepping outdoors, I was met with a refreshing chill that jolted me like an electric shock. For the first time in a while, I truly breathed, deeply and fully. I didn't harbor feelings of remorse or sadness. Instead, I felt liberated. The truth I had shouldered alone for too long was now their burden to carry. As I departed, leaving their wedding in disarray, it struck me that there was nothing valuable I had lost.